Get ready.
Blackpool Pleasure Beach is a seasonal park that generally runs its main season from the 1st of April to the 1st of November, although the finish date can vary. Outside of the main season, the park still opens on some weekend days, but it's mostly closed. In anticipation for the park's return to full opening in the next couple of weeks, we wanted to share 8 useful tips you should take note of before attending the park. Before we do though, we would kindly ask you to sub to the channel if you haven't already, and give the video a like as it really helps us out. Anyway, let's get into it, get ready. Number 8. Go straight to the back of the park. If you're watching this video, we're going to assume you're a theme park fan and already know that it's important to show up to the park early, ideally before gates open, to ensure you get on all your favourite rides. Well, Pleasure Beach is no different, and on busy days, lines can be long. However, one additional tip on top of arriving early is to head straight to the back of the park and the lower capacity, slower operations rides. While it's always tempting to go straight for the likes of Icon, the Big One and other marquee coasters in the park, doing the low capacity, slower operation rides means you'll avoid potential huge queues for these attractions later, and instead can spend some time enjoying the higher capacity rides such as the ones we named above. Some rides to consider doing right away could be Avalanche, Nickelodeon Streak and Revolution. Number 7. Screenshot your e-ticket. For viewers who might not be aware, as of 2021, Blackpool Pleasure Beach has decided that guests need to scan their e-tickets before entering any single attraction in the park. Historically, guests would only have to scan their ticket once at the entrance, and then that would be it for the whole day. In our opinion, this new system is a step back in terms of guest experience, but we can understand that it's been brought in to provide some added security as well as valuable data around its rides. One big frustration that the new system is causing for guests is that it heavily slows down operations, as each time a guest wants to get in an attraction, they need to log in online to access their ticket. Some issues with this are that Wi-Fi and network connection in the park may be slow, meaning some guests may need to wait a few minutes for the ticket to load, holding up everyone else behind them. An easy way to get around this is to screenshot your ticket instead of logging in to view it before every ride. The screenshot works as well as the actual ticket generated online and can be easily accessed from your photo gallery with no connection needed. This tip may not help with the slow people in front of you, but it will ensure you're prepared at the very least. Number 6. Book your tickets online. A simple but always effective tip: do not buy tickets at the gate if you can avoid it. Booking your tickets in advance online benefits you in 2 ways. Firstly, tickets purchased online are generally cheaper than tickets purchased at the gate. Secondly, if you need to purchase tickets before entering the park, then you could be forced to line up. This could lead you to miss the park opening and the chance to get in the attractions early in a bid to avoid long queues later on. Number 5. Join ride queues right up until closing time. Some of you may think this is an obvious one, but for us, it's honestly one of the best tips for Blackpool Pleasure Beach if you don't know it already. Many guests may be under the impression that once closing time comes around, you're obliged to leave the park. We can confirm this is not true, at least in the case of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Closing time only means that guests are no longer able to join ride queues. But if, for example, you were to join a ride queue 2 minutes before the park's closing time, you would be eligible to remain in the queue until you get on the ride. However, thereafter, you would be expected to leave the park, as you would not be able to line up for anything else. Knowing this can be very useful for planning out your day and what attractions you plan to go on and when. Number 4. Make use of park lockers. The park has a number of thrill rides and coasters, which could result in guests losing some belongings. Nobody wants their phone or wallet to fall out of their pocket mid-ride, as this is not only very dangerous, but could put a real dampener on your day. As well as losing your belongings, it can be pretty annoying and tiring having to carry bags and other items around with you all day. For this reason, we would recommend making use of the lockers found just inside the main toilet area in the park. The cost of the locker depends on the size you purchase, but you shouldn't spend more than £5 for the whole day. In our opinion, the cost of the locker is well worth the peace of mind and comfort it provides if you're bringing valuables or bags to the park. Number 3. Plan parking in advance to save money. Depending on the day, car parking can cost you between £10 and £20 if you show up on the day to one of the park's 5 car parks. But with a bit of forward planning, you can definitely get parking for cheaper than the current day rate. As Blackpool Pleasure Beach is located in the heart of Blackpool, there are many residential areas and side streets close to the park. We don't want to name any places specifically as it would be unfair to the residents, but if you do your research, you should be able to find some alternative parking options close to the park at either a fraction of the cost or no cost at all. Another thing to consider is that sometimes Blackpool Pleasure Beach will do special offers on parking tickets. Generally, these offers must be purchased online in advance of your visit to the park, but it means that you would be able to park in one of the official car parks at a lower cost than the day's rate. To sum up, doing a bit of research beforehand should end up saving you some cash in the long run. Number 2. Leave the wet rides until last. Another classic tip, but probably a lot more relevant when it comes to UK parks. If you're planning to do the water rides, then it's really a good idea to leave them until near the end of the day, unless you have a spare change of clothes with you. Unlike parks in hot places such as Florida, UK parks tend to not get as much sun as they may like. This means that if you were to get wet early on the day, it could mean walking around in wet clothes for the rest of the day, as it's hard to dry off. For this reason, we really recommend not doing this to yourself and being strategic about when you do the water rides and how much time you might have to spend in wet clothes afterwards. Number 1. Reap the rewards of visiting the park on a rainy day. Last but definitely not least is a tip that's pretty synonymous with UK parks, but maybe not parks in other parts of the world. As we alluded in our last tip, the UK can be cold, rainy, and devoid of sun for most days throughout the year. Usually guests might be put off from attending a park if the weather forecast is to be bad, but actually, braving the conditions could be of reward to you, and we'll explain why. If you watched our Chessington World of Adventures tips video, you'll already know that if it rains constantly for over an hour during your visit to the park, you're entitled to a free ticket for another day. Well, Blackpool Pleasure Beach also provides its own rainy day guarantee. However, they do require it to be raining consistently for at least 3 hours before guests are entitled to request the additional pass. In our opinion, the chance of a free pass is definitely worth braving the conditions. Worst case scenario is that it doesn't actually rain for long enough to request the free pass, meaning you can enjoy most of your day rain-free. There's not a whole lot for guests to lose here. If you enjoyed this video, why not take a walk down memory lane with our Blackpool Pleasure Beach defunct video on screen now. Let us know in the comments when your next trip to Blackpool Pleasure Beach is, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already.